Over, you just can't breathe. Do you feel your bones start to shake? Do you feel the earthquake? Do you feel your bones start to shake? Do you feel the earthquake? Do you feel your bones start to shake? Do you feel the earthquake? Do you feel your bones start to shake? Do you feel the earthquake?
Matt Replenish is coming through to connect, but it might just be 150. Moving down the quick flush and right in. The 1-2 combo on Toronto. Hold on. Space. Let's go, boy.
Cracked on me. 1 HP. No, 1 HP right here. 1 HP. 30, 20. Let's go.
This is what it's all about.
Let's go.
Yes, they're in our game. Yes, I'm in grief mode.
Yeah, we talked to you.
Good fucking shit, guys. Good fucking shit.
Let's start the show!
Trailer for the FNCS finals that you've ever seen. I don't know what is. Anyway,
I love it, man.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to the FNCS finals coverage from the practice server. I'm Monster D-Face. I'm joined with Reflections today. Reflections, what's up, brother?
What's going on, man? Good to work with you. We've known each other, what, like 3 years almost, and we've never even talked. I don't think we never worked together. We had to make it happen, bro, and now it's finally happening tonight. I'm excited.
And that should be a crime, man. Knowing each other for so long and not being able to get to, to get down to it. But tonight is the night, guys. And first up, before we even move forwards, we have to thank the incredible job from everyone else that's just been rocking the show tonight. The European region has already unfolded. Nico's going to load up the entire talent team because we want to see everyone's beautiful faces. And there you guys are. Shia Wager, Bala killed it. Clay killed it. Of course, we got the exclusive Sundown. And Aussie Antics, you guys are going to see his a little bit of a debut tonight. And of course, we have Reflections here today. But that's the talent team, man. It's been quite the wild journey so far. You guys have seen the kind of the unfolding of us over social media. What do you think about that, Reflections?
I gotta say, first off, shout out to Clay. Clay has been grinding streams nonstop, and on top of that, he's been casting. He's pulled himself up from the bootstraps, really made it work, made it happen, and he's honestly improving every single day as a commentator. I love his drive. I love his work ethic. Love the fact that Aussie's coming in as well. He's going to get his debut, as you said, right? He's excited. I'm excited for him. And obviously, Sundown coming in the mix. You can't beat it. Of course, you, Monster D-Face, Shio, Bala. I mean, it's just overall a great crew to be a part of. You guys kill it whenever it comes to Fortnite casting. Competitive, man. It wouldn't be anything else without you guys.
That's right. Yeah, thank you, man. Thanks for all the praises. And yeah, the team's awesome. I'm happy to have everyone. So shout out to the community because it's all done because of y'all, and we do it for you guys. So now we can get to the meat and potatoes of this whole thing. This is the pre-show, guys. We're here to just kind of warm things up and run through it. Let's start from the top here. We're gonna get into the show flow. Let's talk about the schedule and what's to come and how all the games are gonna unfold. Sorry for blocking his face, or it's on this. But there's your graphics, guys. It's going to be the NA East heats coming up first. We already saw EU unfold. We're going to be going through the first set, the first 3 games. And then after that, we're rotating out. You guys will have Shio and Aussie take over. But remember, the finals, we're covering all the finals tomorrow. On Sunday. Sunday, we're getting all that coverage. And then, of course, there is tomorrow. Tomorrow's the semifinals. We'll have plenty of games covered then as well. But these guys are fighting for a lot of money. There's a lot of money on the line.
A lot of money. Let's talk about that money, right? Let's talk about what these guys are playing for because it's a lot of money. And you got to be thinking, right, these guys are playing from home. What other esports allows you to play in your socks, maybe barefoot, whatever way that you like to dress whenever you're gaming? Hey, I'm not going to judge you, but you get to play for the first place prize of $187,500. Absolute insanity. And you got to be thinking, right, second all the way through 100th place is going to be paid. So if you qualify through these heats, right, you end up being top 6 through any one of these days, you are guaranteed at least some money in your pocket. And that is honestly a great thing to think about. Now, I don't know, if I was a competitive player, I wouldn't make it. Monster, I can't speak for you, but at least these guys are going to be watching tonight. It's going to be insanity. But $187,500 from playing from home, that's great. It's perfect.
Yeah, just to answer your question, by the way, you can cross me off that making it list. I died in the warm-up division. I'm out.
Is that right? How many points did you get though?
Not
at least.
What
was not a lot? All right, we're not going to discuss it. We'll drop it.
The one cash cup I have played recently was on EU, and that was just for the good fun. But what I did want to say, the wonderful part about prizing, guys, remember, if you make it to finals, your entire team does get a piece of the pie. So outside of course, taking first place, that prestigious, first place or top 9 where you make the most money, still making it all the way through to the finals day. If you can make it to the Sunday's bracket, you're going to get paid. And honestly, it's still respectable now. I know Europe is getting the most money. They won up to, what was it, 300,000 for first
300,000, yeah.
But hey, guys, 187K is not too shabby either for a 4-man team.
I mean, not at all, dude. I mean, come on. Like I said, you're playing from home, right? You're playing Fortnite. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. You're walking away. I can't. I mean, math is hard for me. All right, everybody knows this who's watched my commentary. But 187,000 split amongst what, 4 people? That's still a large chunk of money so that you're going to be happy with. I mean, even all the way down to even if you place 4th place, you're still getting over $50,000. You know,
right.
so I think you're going to be looking pretty good.
We have a lot of players coming in, guys, so we're going to get right into the thick of it. We want to take a look at the NA East heats. Let's look at all the players that are queuing up, all these savages in what I believe is probably the most stacked region, or the most stacked, honest heat of this region, I should say. There's a lot of teams that jump out to me on this page right here, and we're going to break a couple down before we move on. But reflections, if you just had to just look, you know, you drop a finger and any of these deadly teams, where are you going to place some of your money?
Obviously, I mean, first off, Liquid Luck isn't going to be played here. All right, that's where my money would go. That's going to be in a different heat for later on, for a later storyline.
Right.
But tonight, though, Commandment, Zayt, High Sky, Sav, come on. I mean, they won 3 out of the last 4 qualifiers. They're absolute. I mean, they're insane. And they even had an excuse, too, if they wouldn't have got gypped in, I believe, the second qualifier, second week or whatever it was. They would have probably won all 4. That's their wording, not mine. But the point is, they are the deadliest squad coming in. They've proven themselves. What was it, week 1 or week 2, where they nearly doubled that of second place?
Yeah, they've definitely put up some phenomenal performances so far. And it's kind of unfortunate that they've been so dominant. I hate to have to root for the same people as everyone else. You know, I like to make it, you know, a challenge. And yes, this is stacked. We've got Creo, Zypha, Cloud, and Keys over on the right-hand side, guys. You have E11, Graska, Clank, AJ, and Daxter, another sleeper team you can't sleep on. You have Nate Hill, Ninja, Funk, and Reverse.
Yes.
Been in the running right up until this point. So this is the heat. These are the players. And you cannot forget Zexro, Kaut, Vincenzo, a.k.a. Vinny, and TSM Macwood, which, again, they're your FNCS trio champions. They already just took home a championship. And in squads, the question is, can they push all the way through? We saw a bit of an upset today with teams like Andretta's squad at Europe just break under the bubble, not quite making it through, taking, I think, an 8th place. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat room, you guys can do that. But they just came up short. 65, no, it was actually 7th place. 65 points with a 2-win tie score, which was incredible, right? It's crazy. They played so well and still didn't make it through. Today is going to be scary for every single heat making it through.
Sure. And it is, too. By the way, glad to see Turkey Lips up there as well, too. One of my favorite names, right, in terms of the competitive Call of Duty community. Turkey Lips has been there since the very beginning, since the summer skirmishes, right? I mean, he's been going hard with it. Speaking of which, I really want to kind of discuss Ninja, Nate Hill, Funk, and Reverse, because you have 2 duos there that have competed together quite extensively, right? Nate Hill, Funk, World Cup qualifiers. You also have Ninja and Reverse as well. They tried to qualify just a little bit short, but regardless, though, there's a lot of chemistry going on there. And I think for the casual viewer, right, who doesn't necessarily watch competitive as much, they're probably going to be rooting on Ninja, maybe even potentially Reverse as well. Obviously, fantastic streamers out there. And I gotta say, though, they didn't earn their spot to be here. However, I mean, they did earn it technically, right? I mean, in terms of they got placed in because of consistent placements overall. No shots. Now look, I'm not looking here to make enemies, all right? But I'm just saying, though, a lot is going to be riding on the line for them, because I think for that team, they have a lot to prove, right? You're talking about some big stars. You're talking about 2 duos have competed extensively together. They need to prove themselves here. They only have 6 games to do it. If they can make it happen, they are going to prove a lot of people wrong, including myself.
If I had to be honest, though, like, I feel like the storyline goes so far back when it was like Ninja versus Tfue versus the world. And all this time, we thought Tfue was going to fall off. He was never going to make it as a comp player. Ninja's never going to make it. These guys, honestly, have collided and you know, put on that try-hard gear. They've made it all the way through, which is crazy. And it's funny also that you brought up Turkey Lips, because that was someone, or this is someone who has been here since the earliest days of competitive. And he has always been so close to breaking it through to the top, but he hasn't quite gotten there yet. So happy to still see him being consistent and amongst the best of the best. And that means that his time to shine will still possibly come someday. But anyways, we got a lot more to talk about. We got some cool graphics kind of queued up here, and we can get into a bit of the controversy per se. I want to talk about the snakiest of the snakes out there. You guys know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Clicks, the Zates, and the Thwifos. I'm gonna sit back here for a second. For everyone in the chat, I want to see the biggest lulz comments because honestly, they deserve it. This is snake season.
Snake season is a real thing. And it doesn't even just stop at Fortnite, all right? It goes all the way to Call of Duty, even multiple other esports, right? Snaking happens, but when it happens, it makes things exciting, right? We love to watch these kind of storylines unfold, and you know when these teams run into each other, whether it be in finals, whether it be in the heats or whatever, it's going to make things very, very exciting. And of course, the people who get snaked, if they remain victorious, the trash talk that ensues on their end is phenomenal.
All right. No, but honestly, guys, I know you guys are getting a good laugh out of this. Just also, please show some love to little Cloud right there. You see the TSM Cloud. Cloud's on this team too. But guys, let's just go and start for the tap. So this snake season graphic is brought to you by all the snakes this season that have traded and betrayed their partners up until this point. We're talking about abandoned teammates that banded together, and they have come through and qualified all the way through here. So kudos to all of you guys that have made it this far. And don't forget, they're in the same heat as the Kings, which we will get to. We're talking Zate, Saf, and all those boys right there. And there's still a lot to go on here. So kudos to them. But yeah, let's go and take a look at Team Solo Vanguard, another team we want to look out for. We're talking about those trio FNCS Finals champions, Macwood, Young Calc, and Vinny. But of course, joined with Zexro here as well because we're talking full squads. Just look at this right here. Look at their placements. They have done so well so far, Reflections, but they haven't taken a victory from the Kings.
That's the thing. You haven't taken the victory. And I mean, that's got to be weighing on your mind, right? Are you going to be bringing that fuego tonight? Or are you going to let that get under your skin? It's called short-term memory loss. Let it go. Hey, you had some great placements. Take it for what you will. All of that's gone though, right? Now what matters is tonight, and hopefully this team is going to be playing extremely well. Calc, I'm going to be excited just to watch him play overall. Talented player, man. I mean, that guy has been tearing up the community. Mac with Vinny, though, obviously that trio, incredibly talented. But we talked about the synergy, though. Is the synergy going to be able to work for this team or not? Are they going to be able to work effectively tonight? That's what you got to be asking.
Yeah, that is the real question. Like you just said, is it going to be Tilt Central where they don't really get it together and they fall down and pull a ninth place? Or are they going to be on their synergy mode? They're going to be those champions that we know they can be and obviously place very high because 6, we saw how difficult it was for the European region to hit 6. 68 points. When we tuned in at one point, the average eliminations for Mitro's squad was 11.4. That is absolutely crazy. And they never
stop.
Yeah, and they were only in second place at that time. So that shows you the level of competition that's going to be going on here. Of course, the NA region is not the same as the European region. Skills are going to be different, but this is a very stacked region. We're probably going to see similar, if not a much harder time for teams to qualify all the way through. There's no time to drop the ball here.
No, not at all. And I love the fact that you specifically, and by the way, these graphics have been phenomenal. Tilt Central, it's one of the things you have to watch out for the young players, right? Tilt is a real thing. And if you guys don't know what tilt is, right, that's just losing your mind in the game. You get angry because things aren't going your way. You have to make sure that you lock it in. You stay focused the entire time. Tilt's a real thing, not only in poker, but also, of course, here in Fortnite. And obviously, if they let any of the competition get to, maybe if they get contested off the spawn too, right? You never know. If things like this start to happen, if they lose focus, they are not going to place top 6 100%.
Yeah, and just talking about that, if they do get contested off the spawn, they somehow find themselves in a position where these win conditions cannot be met, which are going to be, they perform best when they have the most amount of players alive before circle 6. So as long as they're a full team, they're going to be in a very good position. So long as they can manage their ammo count as well, they will be good, and material distribution and management, because you're looking at several different players that are disgusting. And if they run off on their own, and they don't stick together with one another, that's how they become dismantled. And that's where that team dynamic comes into play, because Macwood and Calc are a duo. They're a champion duo, as are Vinny and Zexro, which we saw them perform as far back as Katowice, right? So we're talking about beast duo teams coming together to make even better full squads here. And that's why there's so much on the line for this team here.
Yeah, a lot on the line as well. I mean, we talked about it, right? How much money, $187,000 these guys are playing for, but the potential is there. The talent is there. And if everything comes together correctly, they are going to be hopefully successful in the end. I mean, if you guys are fans of them, be supporting them in the chat. Let them know, and make sure you guys are tweeting out this stream. Hashtag FNCS Finals. We want to get those socials popping, right? Especially during the commercial breaks, your tweets pop up. That's your opportunity to show the community what you made of, as well as what you got to say.
That's right. And we only got a couple minutes of the game one, guys. So we're going to move on to the next team that we really want to keep an eye on. And they're called the Kings. And I think you guys know exactly what we're going to be looking at here. So while Nikolai builds that up, there it is. We're talking about perfection in every aspect here. You know, look at the crowns. Look at Zate's big forehead with that little crown. His head is so big. He is the mastermind. His crown doesn't even fit. That is my boy Zate. That is what I'm talking about right here.
Yo, man, why you gotta roast him like that, bro?
That's not a roast. That was a
hey, look.
He's got the 5-head brain right underneath the crown. This is it.
Well, but you gotta say, a big old forehead, man. Maybe the hairline needs to move down. I don't know. Look, bottom line is though, these guys are the Kings, and until until the end of the night, if they are dethroned, they're still gonna remain the Kings all the way through this entire thing. Even when it looks like maybe they are not going to make it through top 6, they're still gonna remain the Kings.
They're gonna make it.
I mean, there's a couple win conditions, right? They got to identify mistakes and capitalize. That's the biggest thing, right? Fortnite is all about adapting to anybody's play style. There's so many variables that go into it. Got to be making sure that you're capitalizing not only on your mistakes, but also on your enemy's mistakes as well. And everybody needs to be on the same page, right? Team cohesion is massive, especially in squads. You don't have that, you're not going to be successful. Even if you have one weak link in the chain, that chain's going to snap overall, and you got to pick the right time to take height. But that is, I got to say this though, this team knows when to take height. They're very effective at doing it, whether they're doing it just simply by finding an opening, maybe even using a double RPG. By the way, shout out to Bala TW for all of the videos as well, for the VOD reviews. Ended up watching their VOD reviews from the dominant performance when they nearly doubled the score of everybody else. They worked together well. I mean, he was calling them ants because they were coming through and they were cycling mats to each other, right? So your main talent could go through. Overall, I gotta say, I don't know what a weak point is for this team.
Yeah, this is one of those champion teams that really doesn't have too many flaws. You're looking at High Sky, who is a phenomenal player. Saf was just a disgusting player, not only in team settings, but solo settings, and the clutch potential from Commandment. Commandment has been a highlight reel since he's hit the scene. And then, of course, you have Zate and Saf synergy are almost unparalleled to many others on the scene. This is an incredible team. They've obviously proven it up until this point. It's just a matter of buckling down, pulling through, playing that consistent game that they know they can, and making it through to tomorrow to see another day. Every single day is going to be an uphill battle for every single team. And unfortunately for them, I really do believe they are in the most stacked heat.
Oh, 100%. I mean, and they definitely are going to be in a very stacked heat, right? I mean, you got to be thinking that all these guys have qualified. All these guys clearly have potential, right? Because they are now in the heat, earning their spot for the finals. So you can't take anybody lightly. You've got to take everybody at the same intensity as the other guy, right? And if you don't do that, hey, you could fall short. All it takes is one slip up, right? Getting sniped, you go down. Hey, that's one less team that you have, or at least one less teammate that you have. Then you got to go ahead and go for a reboot van, try get rebooted if you potentially can. Overall, you got to be firing on all cylinders, especially when you're playing against the best of the best. So honestly, just like I said before, right, whenever it comes to Calc and his team, short-term memory, you won 3 of the last 4 of the FNCS squads qualifiers, right? They're the Kings. But now that doesn't matter. Now they still have to prove themselves once again. They finish outside of top 6 here. They're not moving on. They're not moving forward for the finals for all the money. So bottom line is, yeah, you were very successful. That's something to think about. But now tonight is the time where you really have to prove yourself. And really, honestly, I view all of this, all these teams on a blank slate.
That's really the truth of the matter, right? Every single team has their own kind of perks, right? When it comes down to making it this far, we saw, teams that are just work better at snaking some people. Some teams just have bigger heads on their squad. They make it further. I'm just saying, everyone's got their kind of their thing going on, right? Like look at Reverse Team. He's the only team to make it this far. They have a mixer streamer. That's great. Like, they are killing it.
That is true.
Right?
That is true.
All jokes aside, guys, this is the pre-show. Welcome once again to the FNCS finals coverage here from the practice server on Monster Deface Door Reflections. We're just kind of, shooting our shots here, just having some fun while the games are loading up. Hope you guys are enjoying it. I'm having some fun here.
Oh, I'm loving this. I'm definitely having a good time, right? By the way, this is NA East. It's only Heat 1. Okay, I know I'm kind of moving in the future. Who's your prediction, though, to take over in A East Finals?
Honestly, I don't even want to shoot out a prediction. I want to give hope. I like the team I want to see pull through is probably Creo's team. I want to see Creo's team kind of smash it all the way through. They're one of those teams that have been just under the radar. And if not them, I want to see the E11 boys make it through Graska, Daxter, BBG, Clank, and AJ. That's another team built by gamers. Yeah, they've just been building up their team. They're trying to make some moves, and that's what I want to see.
I gotta say, game one is about to be underway. I'm excited, Monster. The action is about to start. The EU is done. Now NA East is underway, and we're gonna be dropping in shortly. Here we go, dropping in. Jack is Godly, Frankie, Nounsy, as well as Turkey Lips, guy we talked about a little bit earlier. And it seems as if they're gonna be going Orchard just on the other side of Frenzy. Not a bad place to go. You got plenty of loot, right? You got lots of trees you could hit. The loot pattern there, by the way, is pretty good. You got an upgrade bench over there as well. Only takes 200 materials to go ahead and upgrade something. Maybe you find bad loot, right? You find yourself at a common tack. Oh, he's already getting lasered out of the air. Actually, Jack is Godly might drop here. 58. That's you know, maybe some love taps coming through.
That's right. That's crazy. That means someone touched down right before him at the actual farms there.
Yep.
Which means they got a couple of shots off. So that's going to give him a little bit of confidence, right? You get some early game picks. We've seen in the game one of EU how much Storm Surge was affecting these players.
Yes.
You get hurt by the Storm Surge if you cannot do damage. So with that off the bat, they're off to kind of a sketchy start here.
Storm Surge definitely has to hurt, but you got to be thinking, right? The team that did get a couple of those tags, they're feeling good, right? They got a couple of tags off the rip. Looks like Frankie got damaged as well. So something they're going to have to watch out for. Shouldn't get pushed, obviously. Engagements early on isn't something that necessarily happens, but I do see that Hilltop is, in fact, already built upon. There's going to be a team up there already as it is, and that was going to be probably their natural rotation, right? You've got some rocks up there that you can hit to go ahead and gain some brick if you're not already maxed out as it is, but it is hard to get maxed out on brick over in Orchard, especially whenever you're playing squads, so you kind of need that rotation. Also, it gives you some great oversight to maybe look at some players that are going to be rotating out, and you get some pop shots. Storm Surge, like you said, a very big thing. Now, in EU, though, in the very first game, I think they were sitting at like 95 players by the time the first circle started collapsing down. We're already down to 89 at this point. So a couple players still dropped off, but you got to be thinking to yourself, Storm Surge still going to take an effect. But now we're going to be over here in Sweaty Sands watching another squad.
Yeah, that's right. And I want to put some of the chat's mind to ease. You guys thought people didn't load in? No. Just kind of backtracking here. Remember, guys, the way the broadcast format is working today, we're tuning in with live stream, so some people have a little bit more of a delay than others. People didn't actually fail to load in. The problem was people died off the bat. So you saw that player count kind of drop. And if in some situations we lose all of our live player feeds, guys, we will resort to the replay mode. So we'll be able to cover everything here so far today.
Yeah, and I think they did a really good job earlier, like kind of mixing into that replay system as well, catching moments that we necessarily didn't get to see. Was this off the start, or is this, I think this was off oh wow, some nice shots coming out from Stritos. Now, I do notice, though, there isn't going to be a fourth with them, so it looks like this trio is going to have to go at it alone. But that's a great start, already getting a knock off the rip. Even if they don't solidify the elim, they still are going to get that damage for Storm Surge moving forward. So not bad shots and not a bad way to kind of solidify at least your start, right? Where you're landing, showing your dominance.
That's crazy. And just that team we just saw, Struda squad right there, they only loaded with 3 players. So if they can pull through, that's going to be actually incredible. But look at this. Sweaty Sands, one of the largest POIs, 2 Savtona clutch Sully and Beans' squad to themselves. They have this entire point of interest to loot it up right now. That is actually incredible. This is one of the most heavily congested kind of chest spawns in the game.
It is, right? I mean, you have a ton of things over here, not to mention, too. Now, I typically don't see a lot of fishing spots spawn up over there on the beach, but it is a potential. So you go ahead and find yourself a grapple hook, right? You can go over there. You go ahead and start fishing if you need to, release the harpoon. Regardless, though, they should be walking out plenty of mats, stacked inventory, as well as full shields if they play their cards right. The only contestant they should have, maybe Castle just up ahead. I believe that's going to be to their east, or the players coming in from the islands. This is a storyline that I want to talk about, though. Slurpee. On the outskirts of Slurpee, great place to go, but it's not a successful spot if you cannot fish. You have to fish from the spot. If you cannot do that, you are going to be in a lot of trouble.
You're making a really good point. If someone lands at the POIs nearby and they want to turn around and start storm surging you, they can definitely hold you out and affect your loot pattern. Being back here, you're only really accessible to wood and some, some little bits of metal and stuff you can get off the slurp kegs. But if you can't get rolling out of there quickly, you won't be able to get your loot going. Now take a look here at Holly Hedges, another dope spot to land at, especially if you got it to yourself. This is going to be a good place to max out on material. And just looking at this loadout right here, my man has 2 harpoon guns. My gosh. He's going to go fishing, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, too, and not to mention the late game potential with those harpoon guns, right? Whether it's, taking your opponents into the air, maybe taking them out of a build, maybe it's destroying a build, right? It does a ton of damage to builds overall, especially if the build is wood in front of you. You can basically destroy it with one hit. But looking at over at the EU, I noticed the harpoon guns being used considerably well for grabbing loot late game, right? I mean, it is a beneficial thing to do, especially when you don't want to get out of your tarp, right? You don't want to go down because it's going to expose you. Go ahead and use that. Gives you an opportunity. Pick up some fish, right, for late game. Extremely important because of the fast time that it takes to go ahead and consume one, whether it's a flopper or a slurp fish. Also grab some weapons. Maybe there's an RPG on the ground you want, right? There's so many potentials. Having 2 seems a bit excessive, but hey, maybe if he plays in shambles and his teammates have plenty of hills, whether it's a bandage bazooka fish or, a mixture of both, right? If they have that, maybe it could be beneficial. We'll see if he keeps it.
It's kind of crazy how we've seen the harpoon and even fishing rods make it to end game and now become like a thing. One player holding on to them so they can fish gear from players that they pick off in the distance. Now, I just want to talk about this really briefly to the rest of you guys. Dirty Docs being to that squads by themselves is very exciting because I want to see them do well. So to have a versus team to have that whole place to themselves, that's going to be crazy. But now jumping in with Dr. Football. He's kind of on an aggressive push. I'm not sure if he spotted someone, just kind of looking at the movement. Notice here. Okay, I thought it might have been a player nearby. Yeah, you see the markers coming out. There it is. He's going to take some shots here, putting some pressure down. No one's going to build a wall, so he's trying to get information here. It's kind of like call those information shots to see if someone builds a wall or something there. But there's a team here. There's a team lurking nearby.
Yeah, 100%. And you do notice he does, in fact, already have 1 elimination. So that's going to put them at least up as long as everybody was able to go ahead and load in. I know we saw a tree a little bit earlier, but they're going to be off in the distance. But with that being said, he did have an elim. Now he's going to be in a constant 4v3. You know they're going to be watching a reboot van. That full squad coming back up is probably not going to happen. So if they play their cards right, that's going to be a couple of points off the start. And on top of that, they are going to win their landing spot. This is game 1. Asserting your dominance at the landing spot early on, especially in this heat one, right? There's only 6 games. You start knocking that team or contesting that team off the start. If you consistently win it, they're going to back off. They're going to go somewhere else. You're going to have that entire POI to yourself.
That's crazy, too. Just seeing Nosh have his kind of run in lately. Nosh has been on fire, but regardless of what, we're jumping with this BBG team. Shots are coming in. He's going to get pelted a little bit right there. That damage fall off is going to keep him from losing too much shield, though. Lucky for him, he wasn't dinked in the head. We'll take a look at the little graphic here. You want some more eliminations? Be patient. Placement drives high elim totals, not vice versa. The average time for the first limit for the top 10 teams in the game finals was 12 minutes or after the close of Circle 2. That's the average time it was to get an elim for your team, 12 minutes.
And it makes sense too, right? Because you think about how congested the final circles are, right? Especially when you start getting into half and half. That's where you really want to start focusing your attention on the players. And you really have to. You got to keep your head on a swivel. If you don't, you could get lasered from a lot of different directions. That's where you want to pick up the bulk of your elims. You don't want to be fighting like in normal pubs. You don't want to fight off the start, right? You want to get kitted up. You want to put the odds more in your favor. You want to prioritize rotations. And that is exactly what early game is meant for. Late game, that's where you pick up the bulk of your elims. And hopefully you get a lot of them, because if you do, hey, I mean, when you talk about Mitro's team earlier, 11.1, that's a lot of points going their way just in elims alone. And if you're slaying out, teams are going to stay away from you. And even if they don't stay away from you, they might get slayed themselves, right? So, I mean, even more of an opportunity for them to stay away. But on top of that as well, you're going for placement points. If you're slaying out, that's more teams that are getting eliminated, more points that are potentially going your way.
So look at these snipes right here. This team is actually going to land right there. Sabtota shooting way down range is going to connect with a nice little 100 body shot. Whoever that player is, whatever they're going to get out of that chest is probably going to go right back into his heal bank. So that kind of negates the chest. Very, very good shot right here. We already saw This squad had Sweaty Sands to themselves.
Yo,
Look at this zone right now. This is probably one of those zones that are a nightmare zone to start it off with. And I feel sort of like I'm bringing some caster curse. The last time I casted this time of year, we saw some crazy swords off the bat in game 1. Now we have arguably the worst zone. This is the nightmare zone. This is what nightmares are made of.
Oh no! You know, I'm telling you, casters are undefeated. Even if we're not playing, we have the talent to eliminate teams left and right. I don't know what it is with us, but we think this team's going to win. Don't say it because they're going to lose. Bottom line, right? You never want to give your prediction early on, and I know I kind of caught that when you did that earlier. Good to see, of course, Ninja, Nate Hill, Funk Bomb. They're going to be pushing forward, getting kind of the scraps over at Orchard. Kind of trying to get some materials and then pushing out just a little bit earlier. Just where we saw at least our first squad ended up landing. They took a couple of shots. They're going to see those builds on top of the mountain. They're going to know they're old. Hopefully they don't waste their time, maybe focus too much on that. They've got to make some ground. They've got to push forward. Getting caught up in the storm, not going to be too bad, specifically for Nate Hill. He's got 2 floppers, but you would obviously like to save those for late game if you could, but overall, they're still going to be sitting okay. I'm kind of curious to know if anybody had a Bandage Bazooka, though, because that's what I really want to look for.
Talking about Bandage Bazooka, Jack is Godly is loaded up with one right now, and one of their teammates has already been dropped. This is the squad that we saw off the bat get pelted or shot from a distance from Zate, because we know Zate likes to land at that farm. So they're already down a player. It's Frankie who's out of the game here. And look at this shambles loadout. My gosh. Oh, okay. For a second, I thought he didn't have a shotgun at all, but he dropped it to pop the mini.
That'd be terrible.
Yeah, lucky for him, right? He does have something. And just real quick, once again, guys, if you're just tuning in, first off, thank you guys for being here. Don't forget to use that hashtag FNCS Finals. This is the NA East portion of Heat 1 for the practice server coverage of the weekend. It's all community driven. So thank you to everyone so far that's tuned in and showed up. And yeah, this is why we want you guys to man, show love to the people you want to see come out on top. My dude Nosh winning Heat 1, hashtag MCS Finals. Zellify 2.0, thanks for the tweet. Use that hashtag. We have plenty of action to show for you guys this weekend.
There it is, that Storm Surge coming into play, right? We're going to start seeing potentially some guys dropping off, and you really hope that Storm Surge isn't affecting you specifically if you already lost a teammate early on. I think just up ahead of Hassan, though, is going to be a team that is struggling with Storm Surge currently. If that is, you kind of want to focus your attention on that because there's a lot more pressure on the line for them. Not only are they trying to get, I mean, obviously when Storm Surge is hitting you, you've got to get desperate. You've got to maybe take a risk, push yourself out there, get a tag, and that can obviously get yourself eliminated, right? So if you see somebody up ahead, Storm Surge is affecting you, maybe you want to kind of focus your attention on them because that could be an easy elim.
And that's kind of interesting. This is the same 2 teams we're looking at from 2 different perspectives. It's BBG and the other squad down on the river right here. We know that this is the nightmare zone. And notice how no one's committed to an island. They're just like, you know what? I got a piece of land right here. They're going to rock it out. They're going to stick it out. And take a look at Nosh's squad. Oh, no, he's very, very hurt here. Ghoul already down, Paper down, and Chaotic out as well. Nosh is left to fend for himself. He's an incredible solo player. He is just barely above the threshold here. This is a tight situation for him.
Yeah, barely above, and on top of that too, look at his health. He doesn't have any more meds whatsoever or shield. So if he drops below that threshold, he starts taking damage. Storm Surge is going to pretty much take him out very quickly. He's got to play his cards right if he wants to take over this win. Once again, though, over to the side of Hassan as well as his team, they're still peeking out, right? They're safe. They're within zone. They're happy. And there it is. That Storm Surge is ticking away. That's 25 off. Another one is about to hit as well. That's another 25. He's got a couple more seconds left, and then he's going to be got. He went for the snipe monster, but he didn't connect.
I respect it. It was the desperate last-minute decision, the only move he could make. Unfortunate for Nosh. Nosh is so good. I really want to see him, do his thing this weekend, but G's to that one right there. And as we kind of load up these feeds right here, we did see Hanson. Again, Hanson squad is at the mercy of the BBG boys who are right here. This is the team that we want to get to. They are at the mercy of the BBG team because this next zone is going to dictate whether or not the BBG squad wants to hold them out or rotate first and kind of squad it. Lucky for them, though, it is going to favor them. So that's actually really good. Notice how they put the marker. The marker's in the center of the water. It's kind of where you want to be because this next zone is going to pretty much go 50-50 here. We got a little fight going down Reflections.
Yeah, definitely have a fight going down. Taking their time, though, trying to get some tags. We're going to be watching, of course, Dankline Is trying to get any picks that he possibly can. I think his teammates were able to clean up at least a couple up above. That's going to score them 2 points. Not a bad start at all. And you're still going to be looking, right, 73 total players still remain in this lobby. That's quite a few. Getting those tags, incredibly important to stay above Storm Surge. This zone, though, like you said, they placed a marker. They're trying to get as central as possible. That's going to better their chances of maybe getting a better zone when the next one appears. I'm curious how this water fight is going to take place, though. Water fights make things awkward, regardless if you tarp over it. Obviously, people are going to be taking high ground, but for those low ground warriors, it could make things interesting.
And take a look at this, guys. Remember, we're using that replay mode so we can follow the champions. These are the kings right here. Commandant, Zayt, Saf. Making this rotation here. You can see they're still in the running, getting a little bit of action going on here. It's going to be a snipe down range from one guy. It's not going to connect. You can see there's also, you know, a couple tweets right here. Thank you guys for showing some love to your favorite teams. But check it. They're still in the running. They're still here using that material and cutting straight across the field. So we know now they're somewhere on that northeastern side of the map. They came in from up there, and they're still in it. BBG, though, looks like they're having the time of their lives. Not only do they get that pick, which is huge, they get mats off that, right? It allows them to stay in the game and stay fresh.
Yeah, refreshing is huge, right? Bala said it best, right? You have to make sure that you're refreshing. If you're not doing that, you are going to fail. You're not going to have the mats to be able to tarp over. You're not going to be able to overtake high ground. You're going to be forced to play low ground warrior, which, hey, look, more power to you if you like that positioning, but obviously high ground is dominant. You can still win a game from low ground, but you want to take over high ground, but you need mats to be able to do so. Off the Ninja Squad with Nate Hill, Funk, as well as Reverse. They've got themselves in a nice positioning. They're also looking good in terms of Storm Surge, and I believe one of their players was able to at least get one Elam down low. Maybe not, actually. I think it was actually robbed from them. So with that being said, loot is going to be down low. You see Nate Hill is going to be eyeing it, and I saw a harpoon gun going to try and gather some of it, but unfortunately, we are going to see some damage being taken from Nate Hill. That's going to burn through those minis.
That is right. Nate Hill is under pressure right now, the edge of the zone. Now jumping back into that replay mode. Take a look here. High Sky is the pressure of a grenade. The grenade's actually going to connect. That was a perfect nade from Schmecht and I carry. So they decided to park up right underneath that base, and they get punished for it. And the BBG team, or no, that wasn't the full BBG team. BBG Hoffner is actually going to pick off some players there as well on the rotation. We're just kind of hopping back and forth here. There is battling unfolding all around the water zone here. This is why we called it a nightmare zone, because teams are just going to be hovering on top. Yes, the congestion is going to be insane on the land portions of the map, and now everyone has to cut across the water. You're in the south side. If you're in the north side, you're in trouble.
I'm excited. That water, like I said, is going to make things interesting, and it's about to unfold. About 38 seconds till the next zone starts moving through. A couple players being taken out, and that was Diddy. We saw Diddy a little bit earlier, unfortunately. That leaves Hoffner as well as Dankline by himself. Now it's up to Dankline. Hoffner, I believe, got dropped a little bit earlier. And it looks like the full squad is going to be eliminated. Dr. Football, we saw him at least off the rip, and seems as if he hasn't slowed down since we last saw him. Look at the amount of players in front of him, Monster.
I didn't want to mention it first, but my gosh, yes, everyone is swimming for their lives right now as they're trying to cut across that water here. Lucky for this team here, though, the Vanish team, we have Strodel's Claw jumping, only queue them with 3 players, doing exceptionally well for themselves, being that they're still in the game with a decent amount of material pool right now, and they're just going to hunker down right here. I don't know how they've managed to outlast the Storm Surge, though. There's no Elims on this team at all right now.
I do see a lot of floppers, though. But then again, you know, but something to think about. But I think it is, in fact, bugged. Maybe they are, in fact, you know, a little bit up in terms of the Storm Surge. So maybe they're sitting pretty. Regardless, though, they did have some floppers. They also had a couple of minis as well. Maybe they were just staying, you know, ahead of the game, right? Just hilling off overall. Ninja team still hanging in there. 64 players still remaining. Now, as the games do continue, though, I think we're going to see a drop-off of players late game. As players early game maybe are going to be trying to get a little bit more aggressive, especially those who know that they are drastically down when it comes to overall points. Of course, though, we will be, in fact, looking over at Sartana. He's going to be in a fight himself just down low, trying to get at least any tag that he could potentially get. That zone, 15 seconds before it collapses down. Where's half and half going to be?
That's right, and the grenades on this squad right now is so deadly because everyone's parked up, and they're going to be in some awkward spots. They're not going to be moving too much either, so everyone knows the God meta, the God nade meta is already real. And check this, they're actually going to catch zone here. That's crazy because they're already fortified in a huge base.
Huge.
Perfect situation for them. They're even going to elevate themselves a little more, and now it's time to rain fire and make it that much harder for everyone to rotate across. This zone somehow has landed on the island. This is a best case scenario for some players, considering how worse it could have been. Now
Wow,
some
you
shots
talk
coming
about
out.
getting blessed, Monster. That is absolute insanity.
That really is right there. Just having this zone right here, the half in, half out zone. Next is going to be the first, taste of rotation. It's probably going to cut right back into the river. But now looking at Strodels here, I did make a mistake earlier. You see that point down below. I thought they didn't earn anything, but they are just above that threshold. So they do have a point. They're trying to execute right now, see if they can get a little more. RPGs are coming out. So you see a little bit of the chaos unfolding here. And one of the things you'll notice, you hear the comms right there. He said, don't panic. Just keep alive.
Always. I think panic tends to ensue whenever you say don't panic. He starts to panic. Hopefully, though, his team is going to be pretty composed. He was playing in shambles, right? We're talking about, of course, the epic pistol that he had in his inventory, as well as maybe a green tack. But overall, though, I'm kind of worried about his inventory. Hopefully, he'll be good up close. He is burning through his mini ammo, something he's going to have to manage. That was one of the win conditions for, I know one of the graphics we popped up for the teams. Great laser, though, for Sartona up ahead, and that's going to be a full elim. That is, of course, going to guarantee yet another point. Brings them up to 3. Not only do they have zone, Monster, you pointed it out, everybody's going to be rotating into them. It allows for them to get some easy picks.
Not only that, they get to recycle material just kind of sitting on top of these players if they really wanted to. He got the knock there and the full elim. He's just hawking the loot right now. They really want it. And that is going to get picked up. So that's going to be a huge refresher for them. And holy, look who's still in the game. Nate Hill, Funk, Reverse, and Ninja as a full team still in the game. And they're going to make it to some enemy builds nearby. And lucky for them, there is some shots underneath. That's going to be a huge knock for Nate Hill here, allowing him to stay in the game. But he didn't realize he couldn't build. And the Siphon is actually going to come in clutch right there and keep him in the running. Talk about fortunate circumstances for him and his crew right here. Still alive. Even Funk makes it to build up to the side here, and they're all still alive right now.
That's crazy. That Siphon's so clutch, because I think he was down to just about 5 health, and he was still getting lasered. Wow, absolute insanity. Talk about getting blessed. I like the fact they're getting creative. They're swimming, right? They're just taking that low ground, and we'll see if it's going to work for them. The more builds that are going to happen, the more tarping they'll be able to do. Obviously, they'll be able to get out of that water, but until then, we'll have to see. Getting dropped down, though, taking some fall damage. It's going to be our man Sartona. He's got to be careful. Building up, though, burning through some mats. He's already down to, what, just about 200 wood at this point. Hopefully, his team will be able to refresh him, but they committed a lot to this high ground early on.
I want to talk about that. Early on, they did have height, and they're making mistakes right now. That other player being on that top tarp, they're wasting double the material. They are not playing very conservative right here. They're all on their own tarps. It almost seems like a bit of chaos going on, and that's how quickly their top player can be isolated and pushed on his own. And now, suddenly, Beans is out of the running. So, as a 3-man crew, what are they going to do? They have to get some big knocks right here. This is end game. This is where things get real. This is the clutch factor. Can he connect? And no, he is going to get traded out right there. This is tough, Reflections.
It's very tough. Now Sully's last alive. He's getting ticked off from Storm. He's going to go down. So unfortunate. And this was our trio. Unfortunately, one of them not able to get in. Jumpin's going to be the last one up. Potential for the revive coming through. He's going to try and stick it. If he gets that, that's going to be hugely beneficial. But now it is 2 versus the world. It's going to potentially be Strudels as well as Jumpin. Claw is now out of the mix. No way to get him back up. And on top of that, we talked about playing in shambles. There's no hills. There's no shields. Strudels, all he has is attack in his inventory as well as pistol, but he's making it work. That's going to be a knock.
And that's the Siphon right there. It's going to keep him in the running right here in the low ground. We already know Vinny, Macwood, Calc, they're all in the high ground. We got those trades out. So now we get another POV. We get to see what's happening down below. This is not looking good for Strodels. Strodels going to get taken out, taking the 12th place right there. Now take a look at Nate Hill, another team we want to see make it through. Somehow they clutch factored across that river. I need to know who's IGLing for these guys right here, because they have made some phenomenal rotations considering they came as far as they could have come from where they spawned in at.
Made a video about this team early on, and I said they need an IGL, and it seems as if Funk Bomb has taken that role. At least he was tarping just a little bit earlier. And you see the Ants, like Bala likes to say, they're working, they're starting to push forward. They've got good positioning overall, trying to peek out the builds. Nice edits to try and just peek down as well. They also have the bandage bazooka, but they actually abandoned all of that to go for a swim. They know they need to get through. There's too many builds, and the best way to go is to go under. This could allow for them to get a couple of early picks. That's what we saw from Jumpin just a little bit earlier.
Not only that, they save materials just snaking underneath the enemy tarps, and they're not on the congested So that's a great read on the zone right there. They're not even in any of the, you know, the harm's way, if you want to call it that. Everyone else is fighting up above. 28 players alive. That's crazy. It's crazy numbers right there. Nahil's actually going to pick up a little refresher right there. It's going to get him a couple mats. He doesn't have much left, though. And the server is now firing in. Oh, he's going to get traded out right there in the zone. He could not get that point. Funk is still alive, though.
Yep. Keeping the dream alive, Monster. He's trying his best. Last alive. Taking his time. Obviously, we don't get his perspective, at least as of yet, but there it is. Finally looking down low. Now, at this point, right, Monster, you're alive. You're just hanging out. You're trying to just get placement points from this point forward. If you could get some slays, go for it. Get some elims. Like the guy down low, but gets tagged up. He's taken out. And they're going to finish a little bit earlier than they probably wanted to, showing that low ground warrior, maybe not the best way to go, but this is a team I wanted to see, right? Creo up top. It's kind of a replay from a little bit earlier. They've got free momentum for everyone down low. Macwood finding a couple of elims down. Oh, that was actually Ninja from earlier. That was the guys that eliminated him.
So it was Zexro, Macwood's team, that took out Ninja and their crew, kind of just dismantling them, jumping out to that low ground because they also ran out of materials, apparently. And that is how that kind of crumbled. Remember, guys, we're kind of backtracking here. You guys get to catch all of the feed as we go back in time here, using the replay mode to catch all of that endgame action. So the shot we saw from Funk was actually at Macwood in the low ground. So Macwood dismantled the entire Ninja reverse crew right there, just like that. And he's still alive right now, going for a swim. No way he's going to take on another player right now.
He'll do it. He'll do it if it comes across. Absolute insanity. I can't believe he hit that shot. Like, it totally looked like he just snapped onto him, ended up taking him down. Funk, we'll be seeing you later. Cloud, though, up top, players down low. He got a couple of tags himself. Of course, his team just trying to fire away. That's going to be at least one there onto Wonder. Wouldn't take him out. And they'll continue to push in for the time being. I'm liking the teamwork, though. Sticking together. They're looking strong.
And little do they know, there's only 4 players left. Oh, Saf's going to catch Schmeck, and they get traded out right there. Now looking at Commandment's perspective, you can see he's just a layer above. Zypha is up above him with Creo's squad as well. He's getting hunted down right now. Look at Zypha's perspective as he is pushing down the Kings right now. This is one of those underrated teams that can take this entire run right there. Down goes Fun from Vanguard. Reflection, this is all unfolding right here, right now.
Oh, and it's all over, and it is in fact going to be Keys, Cloud, Creo, and his team taking over the victory for game 1. This was a team. Did we not highlight this team early on? Did we not?
Hey, they were a part of the Snake squad. We saw the Cloud, you saw Keys, Creo, Zypha, all those boys up there, and they clutch out all the way through. They have to be on high tide right now with the motivation. If we did a vibe check, it's coming back 10 out of 10.
I love it. 10 out of 10. Maybe even 11 out of 10 if you can consider that. But, man, I love what we saw. A lot of great plays. That zone, like you said, was probably one of the worst zones we could have seen over there in the islands, man. Those water fights make things interesting. It ended up being the demise for Ninja and Co. But overall, a lot of interesting rotations, saving mats. We saw a lot of creative plays as well. It only makes me that much more excited for game number 2. That's only one game, right? There's still 5 more to go overall.
And that's exactly what we expected from NA East. The game was going to pop off. The teams that we thought were going to make it to endgame were there. Saf, Zay, consistency. Remember, this all translates into leaderboard. We saw, especially from Europe, and I don't like to bring it up, but Andretta's team dropped a game or two, and they were jumped all the way, like dropped way down below, and they start off with a crazy momentum. So you cannot drop the ball here if you want to make it through the top 6 and see yourself to tomorrow's games.
I can't drop the ball, right? You got to make sure every single game you are trying your absolute best. You don't do that, like you said, you can fall down the leaderboard. Chat, was game 1 not good? Let me know. Let social know as well. Hashtag FNCS Finals. Go ahead and get it in. Let everybody know that you're watching. And I think we do, in fact, have another graphic ready to go. And that is, in fact, going to be our placements, I do believe. Let's see who's going to be taking over first. And, of course, it has to be Zypha as well as Creo, Cloud, and Keys, right? I mean, they've got to take over first. They played incredibly well, but Fung, Carry, Nort, Schmecht coming in as well. Schmecht, another talented player in the mix. Zexro, Calc, Vinz, as well as Macwood. Overall, though, top 8. Any surprises for you?
Not at all. These are all of your veteran squads coming through, pushing through, and making it through to the end game. Sofa, Jammies, Brett, Tristan Hip, another veteran squad. Underrated players that we're seeing all the way through here. Vanguard's newest pickups, Carry, Fung, coming through with the consistency right here. And that's huge. We saw him take that second place. There is a point threshold difference for making it to second. There's no more get third, you know what I mean? And you're okay. No, you want as many placements as possible. You want to get all the way to second. So big on them to just kind of stay tried and stay making it all the way to the end. What I really want to know, honestly, in this chat, you guys can help with this. Where did Creo, Zypha, Cloud, and Keys land? And how hard of a rotation did they have to make for the Nightmare Zone? I think we can all collectively agree that is probably one of the worst zones you can catch in this game. This map, I should say, outside of probably the snow biome mountain.
Oh, yeah.
Another crazy one over there. That is like up there. So I want to know how hard of a trek they had, because for a second, I thought the Sweaty Sand squad had it and the BBG boys had it. They had the land, they had the zone, and then they kind of let it go.
You think about that, right? You land Sweaty Sands, you've got it all to yourself. You are literally right next door to zone. Like you are blessed in every single way, you know. But of course, naturally, you want to go ahead and travel out. You want to try and find, you know, the best positioning. Maybe it put them out just, so, you know, a little bit more inland, and they had to backtrack overall. But Sweaty, not a bad place to go. I'm curious if they're going to get contested off the start, though. That's something to think about. Was it? I believe it was Holly that was contested off the start. But regardless, though, let's keep the action going, Monster. Game number 2 is coming at you right now. We're keeping it going. I'm loving what I'm seeing. Let's go ahead and see this breakout now. Nosh on your screen. That's your boy.
That's right. This is the guy that I wanted to see, man. Nosh has been on the come up, popping off lately in these solo cash cups, really making a name for himself. And this is his team. We got Chaotic, Goal, and Paper here. Once again, guys, if you're just joining us, welcome to the NA East, I should say, Heat 1 coverage brought to you guys by the practice server. We put this community event together to bring you guys that live action throughout the weekend. We have a wonderful list of talent, of plenty of people that have come through, kind of been on the mic, and there's so much more to unfold throughout the weekend. Reflections and I already kicking it off. The game's been popping, and we're on to another one, brother.
Great to work with you, man. Hey, look, I'm feeling that chemistry. I think it's pretty good, Monster. Me and you, we got it going on. Obviously, talent coming up. Aussie bringing it in with Shio. They're going to be doing games 3 through 6, or at least 4 through 6. Overall, though, the action is going to be covered to the best of our abilities over here. Love what you guys are doing, of course, for the practice server overall. Great stuff, and shout out to production, too, man. I mean, you've been killing it overall. We're not missing a fight. We're seeing teams drop, and then we're seeing the result of it. Why did they go down? Let's talk about Diddy for a sec, though. That's a llama. That's how you want to get the game started.
Oh, yeah, this is the best type of come up right here. Not only for the materials, but there it is, the shields, the trap potential, and then, of course, ammunition. I think ammo is probably the best part about the llama. It's the most underrated part about finding a llama. You get just a boost and a nice start off right there. And I saw chat kind of freaking out about Reverse's team, Ninja, and all those boys. Yeah, they did get some points. They are definitely in the running. We know for a fact they've got to be somewhere in top 10 because from what we saw, the bottom 8 only had like 5 points, right? That could be 5 elims. That could be a placement and a couple elims. So for sure, everything is very, very tight right now. But for what it's worth, the guys in first, Creo and them, bro, they're off to a 20-plus point lead. So that's elims in combination with a ton of placement points for winning that game.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing solid. You know, quickly in second place going to be Fung, though, Carey, as well as a couple of others at 22. So still 2 up. But overall, though, that's exactly how you want to get started, especially when you think about 6th place, right? 6th place with Trinity Dean, as well as Wonder, as well as Plays. They're at 10. That's a 14-point lead that you have from being eliminated.
Yeah, I just want to jump into what's going on the screen right here. Savtona is alive with Beans. That's all he has left. His 2 teammates were taken out at the main hotel room, the big hotel. So that is under control, if you want to call it that, by an enemy squad here. Before the previous game, I thought they had Sweaty Sands uncontested. So someone could have definitely switched up their strategy, and they are now getting contested, and it's not going in their favor as they were just taken out. Honestly, it could have been that team that we thought potentially didn't even load in, right? Because there was a squad that didn't even make it through. So Sweaty Sands is now under contested. Now jumping back with the BBG squad right here. They're just kind of rotating around just outside of Salty Springs. And we know he's got that good loot. He found the llama, so he's pretty much maxed out.
And on top of that, shields, right? I mean, he's got 3 half bots. He's got 2 minis. Pretty solid. That's an underrated spot to be going over there by the bridges, right? I mean, there's so many chests that you can get. Also pretty much uncontested. But this is where the storyline's going to be unfolding. Cards have not been gotten. There's still 1 more remaining. I don't think they're going to be able, at least as you can see, Serotonin, he's going to be looking for, right? He's trying to find his teammate's card. but I think it's going to be a little bit too late. Once it expires, they're going to be in a constant 2v4. Then, of course, your strategy changes, but overall, getting lasered down to 2 health. He's going to get dropped in the end. His teammate Bean's going to have to come through and try and go big in this very moment. If he cannot clutch up, he's going to be in trouble. But you can't even go into the fight. You're trying to preserve your life. At this point, you go from trying to get elims, right, to just trying to stay alive, trying to earn those placement points. Beans in such a bad position. Still an opportunity for him to grab the card, but if that other team that took him out is smart, they're going to be watching it. They're looking for Beans. That's a tough break.
And that's exactly what Savtone was trying to do. He was just trying to lurk, right? Keep a low profile, go for that card in the last final moments, and it wasn't enough. They actually just kind of camped it out and caught him for it. Now jumping over to the other boys here, Strodels, Claw, jumping, aggro, right outside the docks and all this other good stuff. Oh, the Slurpee Stomp, excuse me. He's just kind of moving on across. He's with his team. I think we saw, I forgot what team was landing towards the back end, but there's definitely some players here that didn't have any conflict before. These guys are going outside the zones. This is an interesting loop path right now. They're getting all these kind of free roaming chests. And look at this wide split. My gosh, they're kind of all over the map right here. You can just see the arrows off in the distance. They are not next to one another.
No, not at all. I mean, obviously that puts you at a disadvantage if a team does decide to roll up on you. But obviously, they're going to land. Maybe they were scouting out, hey, okay, this team's going to be over here. This team's going to be over there. We can afford to split up. We're going to be okay. But this is the team that chat's been asking about. Ninja's team with Nate Hill, Funk, and Reverse. From the very beginning, Dirty Docks was their landing location. I was very critical at the start, especially during the warm-ups. I just didn't think that this spot was working for them. But obviously, they made it out last time. They ended up placing at least with 18 players remaining. They might even be top 10, right? We only got to saw top 8, at least earlier, whenever we saw the graphic. Still a lot of potential from them. For the most part, though, they were freely looting up. They didn't seem to be building. Shouldn't be any fights there. But now moving on to Risky. Seems as if there was going to be an engagement over there. Kind of curious to see how that's going to work out. But Dr. Football, once again at Lazy, he's going to be the fight.
Yeah, they've had contested zone right here every single time. This time they do have the zone to play into their favor. That's going to be 2-on-1 action. The trap going on the floor and a beautiful ramp edit by Psycho right there. It's going to catch Dr. Football with a surprise play. And now Orb's going up. This is actually very risky trying to go for this battle right now as another player. Serg is going to get traded out right here. And this team is just getting crumbled and collapsed on little by little. Quick edit's going to put him in a box, but he's surrounded by enemy builds once again, and that's not going to be enough as we just kind of jump around here. Look at the shots right there. That's a trade. That's the siphon.
Not going to be enough. Orb is going to drop. Zai's going to be last alive. Can Zay go big? Oh no, Zay, he's got to go so big and he's going to be spotted in the corner. Nowhere to go. Gets some great tags. But none other than Psycho's going to be there once again to tag him up. And that is, in fact, going to be their location. And now you got to be thinking, right, are we going to see Orbs and his team come through, maybe change up their landing spot? Didn't work out off the rip.
It's
Maybe
kind of crazy. That was one of those moments where I'm sure he's sitting there, he is blaming his shotgun. You saw the 20s come out. You saw the 40. He's aiming at the face. It just wasn't enough damage from the tactical. And that's one of the difference. Tac versus pump right there. The argument kind of goes on. It's crazy how many pros I see lean one way and then others lean on the other side. The range on the pump is unparalleled, but at the same time, the fire rate comes to your benefit. But we're looking at Nosh here. Cut across the field reflections. 90 players alive. We want to say thank you again to Fortnite for showing us some love here. The official Fortnite channel has decided to back us here and shoot us over a little host. So big shouts to everyone kind of coming on over. And thank you to everyone tuning into the Practice Server Twitch channel today. Don't forget, guys, you can definitely connect with us using that hashtag FNCS Finals. Maybe your tweet will get featured on the stream. And again, we want to thank Fortnite for not only enabling drops, but once again, hosting us here on the channel.
The drops is just the coolest thing in the world, man. You know, you could earn things by watching. Are you kidding me? But look at this. So Zayt, right? The squad, the Kings that we've been talking about. That's going to be one Elam. Frankie's going to go down. Another guy that we saw a little bit earlier in the first game in terms of late game who was playing incredibly well. Nosh, though, concerned there's going to be a team just up ahead. They're going to play their cards right. A long way to go. They don't want to get in a fight right now, Monster. If they do, they could be fighting in Storm.
You want to know a fun fact about Nosh?
Send it.
His sensitivity is through the roof. This guy barely moves his mouse around. If any of you guys are watching at home, just pay attention to when he flicks. It's actually insane. He uses like a 2000 DPI and a 2.0.
Stop.
No, it's actually, it's actually crazy. I don't know how he can aim at long ranges, let alone make the edits and stuff that he does. His hand-eye coordination is incredible.
Let me ask, though, how old is Nosh? Do you happen to know offhand?
If I had to guess, it's like 15 or 16. Just look at his hand. Just look at his hand. Ready? Watch this.
Yeah, he's not even moving it.
Production, whatever you do not leave this POV until we see him do a 360 so everyone can see that he doesn't move. Look. He's not even moving, dude.
Absolutely. You know, these 15-year-olds, man, gaming has come such a long way. I'm 28. And I know you're up there with me, too, not to put you on blast, all right? But we were talking about big foreheads earlier, all right? Hey, no, I'm not doing it. But, man, these young kids with the opportunity to just grow as a gamer, and they're so young, and Fortnite still has so far to go. We're going to literally follow these young players throughout their entire career. They're going to continue to improve. 2,000 DPI, though, he's a madman. Absolute madman. He's a unit. But I can't wait to see him a little bit earlier. Hopefully he makes it to late game. Hassan on your screen, though, a talented team that played incredibly well last game. 90 players left. Hopefully they've been getting some tags, but they seem pretty situated. They're high up in the air. They're ready to go. They've got free reign over a lot of ground.
That's right, 100%. And take a look here. Can they keep going as Creo's team typically starts fast but finishes poorly? That's unfortunate. Their first half of games in the finals, they played 98 points compared with the 34 in the second half of the game. So that's actually kind of crazy. They either hit it off or they just don't at all. So we'll see if they're going to be able to kind of keep this stride that they're on right now, according to the analytics. And again, I want to thank the team out back that's bringing together all of these cool stats and whatnot for us. Specifically, thank you to Prodigy Analytics, because they are the ones that's kind of crunching the numbers back there. So it's pretty good.
Definitely like those stats coming through. But Creo, I mean, hey, that's typically right. They start fast but finish poorly. Clearly not the case, at least whenever it came to game number one. So, hey, you talked about it, right? At least we talked about it. Letting those last four, kind of qualifiers go. And just go ahead and focus on your ultimate abilities here in the heats. This is where it matters, right? So as long as you can learn, fix those mistakes. Did we not talk about that, Monster? We talked about fixing mistakes and capitalizing, right? It seems as if Creo's team did exactly that for game number one. Now, hopefully, we don't see them trend back or at least regress back, where we start seeing them start fast, start well, and then, of course, finish very poorly. If they do that, they could, in fact, see themselves falling down.
Yeah,
Regardless,
more importantly, I was just going to say, guys, take a look at that leaderboard right there that you see on the side, that side graphic. These are the players you want to look out for. They're in the running. So as we approach that end game, it's all about consistency. If for some reason any of these guys are not back there or not up there, that's it. They're out. They're going to be falling out the running real quick. Now we're jumping in with some action here. Reflections is Nosh taking out some shots. We see the 0 ping up in the corner. Take a look at the box fight right here. He's going for the wall replace. It's all about communications at this time right now as he calls. That's his wall right there. Now in he goes, makes another quick edit. Doesn't quite find anything. They're only one above the threshold. And this is why, and that's exactly why they're pushing this team like psychos right now. They need this more than ever. Nosh is very hurt right now.
Is their opportunity to capitalize. Your time to get above. There it is. Couple tags are going to come through. That just gives them a little bit more leeway. Now they're not going to have to worry about Storm Surge as of yet. Consuming a lot of bullets, though, on those builds of their enemies. Down to just 4 AR is going to be Nosh. Hopefully his team is going to communicate, but an RPG comes through. Some fast builds, though, to go ahead and capitalize. Luckily, they do, in fact, live. It was a scary moment, to say the least. They're going to go ahead and back up for the time being. But this team is applying a lot of pressure. This could be a couple of points, or it could spell the end of Nosh and his team. Chaotic. He's low in health.
I will say this too, being in the middle of the zone right now, this is the perfect place to get nade spammed by enemy opponents. And they're just in one of these flat boxes that are easy to kind of guess at too. So this is a scary place to be taking any kind of box battles. You're going to be getting the entire server's attention. Now jumping into Twitter Hansen here. He's underneath a box right now. I'm not sure if his team's under defense or if he's trying to get up to his opponents, but let's see what he's doing up now. He says there, he says he can't move, bro.
Yeah.
So you can hear the comms coming in. And yeah,
it does get up.
It's unfolding here.
He's getting taken down just a couple of levels. Go ahead and build up. Wasting a lot of mats, right? And he's down to his metal. I think he's still maxed on wood, but choosing to go with the hard mats makes a lot of sense. Smacked off in the distance, though, onto Zexro. We talked about, hey, you got to watch your every angle, keep your eyes filled. If he connects on this shot, he's nasty, and he does! From 232 meters, Zexro, sit down, he says. And if he gets the finish, this could spell disaster for Count, Vinny, as well as Macwood.
You're looking at teams that are in the running, the leaderboard, the top 6 right now, taking out one another. Carry, second place, bopping Zexro right there. That's a game changer. He's out. He is out right there. They can sit. They can camp that card. They can force the zone to make him to rotate. That's crazy. A 200-meter snipe right there. But we got to get back to this action right now as Dankline is putting the shots down. Someone's trying to hide in the hayfield. You can see the knees right there. That's going to be a little shot. You got to be careful. Is that you are not, you don't go invisible when you're in the hayfield.
No, you don't, man. Those shots are going to be coming through. They're deadly, right? And a couple tags, actually. I believe that player is going to be knocked. Yes, he is. And that is, in fact, going to be a finish. Another point going their way. Now onto the board of J-Love. Look at that, right? Only 9 above the damage threshold. Storm Surge about to connect as well, but quickly keeping the action going. That's going to be at least a knock from another team coming out on the squad just above you. But this is, in fact, going to be Chris' team.
Yeah.
As we'll continue to look.
Took out Kaija right there. Chris is taken out as well. So they are trading back and forth, this team right here. He's only 6 above the threshold. Another knock right there is going to take out Heki. So 2 AR shots coming out of this player right now. You would think he's on controller or something because the dude is hitting some good pops right there. Gotta respect it. And he actually got
controller plays, they connect.
That one. Yeah, he got to confirm that one. He didn't get to confirm the second. So big on him to actually capitalize on confirming the Elim right there. Now that they have Storm Surge, check it. They're out. They're just rotating, taking it as a small victory for themselves.
Another engagement happening. Nosh, your boy on screen, trying to tag some builds up. Nice builds, at least up ahead, right? They don't want an RPG to come through, maybe even some shots. You notice how they do close behind them. They don't want any players sneaking in as well. They've got a lot of movement here, and they also have zone in their favor. They're going to be able to at least go to the edge of their builds, and they will be in the safe zone. So if they play their cards right, they can catch a couple players off guard. Still 68 players remaining, so you've got to be thinking, we got to be getting tags, right? Storm Surge is going to be taking effect, something that has to be in their back of their mind. Still a lot of talented players still remaining. For the most part, though, all is going to be quiet. That team they were trying to focus, they are now safe. They are now gone.
Yeah, just a lot of fights right here. So for any of you guys that are tuning in a little late, Nosh's team has already kind of had the battle against Storm Surge. So you see their team is in shambles right now. No extra heals, like nothing crazy, right? Bandage Bazooka on this player. His ammunition is very low, so they didn't even get to capitalize or trade out on the shots right during the Storm Surge. They're weak. They're weak. They're in a tight spot. Now looking at Zypha, Cloud, and Keys. This is the replay mode here, so it allows us to kind of backtrack and kind of catch up on some key moments. Let's see here is Cloud. It's just important to even know who's in the game, right? Who's still alive up until this point, and take a look at the map as well. Important to kind of see key players rotating in and who's situated where. You get a lot of information from those replay modes as we're now closing at the northeast side of the Frenzy farm here, so it's already cut across. And Chaotic goes down.
Chaotic does drop. In fact, goal dropped a little bit earlier, right? So Chaotic will get picked up. He'll probably get healed to at least 100 health. Maybe some minis coming his way. Bandage Bazooka will come in big. Jack, though, trying to hold his own over in the cornfield. We talked about this earlier, right? You can be seen. You absolutely can be seen from it, but he is getting some tags. That's hugely beneficial, but look how below he is. He's about to start taking some damage.
No way Zexro got saved earlier. From Vincenzo himself, guys, the Vinny picks up the boy. So Zexro was managed to get saved, and you saw the storm coming in, so they did have to wait that one out. And that gives us a little insight into who might be alive, as 50 players are still in the running here. So the Kings, right? Some of our young Kings are still in the game here. As our FNCS trio champs are showing you guys, they're still here to try and take this one away. They're still in the running. My gosh, I've never seen someone with this much Storm Surge issue, right? Like, he's just popping minis. He's like, yo, it's all good. You can keep it coming.
He doesn't even care.
Yeah, he's got plenty of minis. Taking his time.
An unintentional effect, though, Monster. Actually, I was thinking about this.
He's being patient.
Well, he is being patient, but an unintentional effect of the storm surge. He's hiding in the cornfield, right? But everybody could see that storm tick, right? They could see that storm surge come down. That's giving away his positioning every single time, regardless of everybody. They're in their own world. They've got so much going on that they can't even focus on this guy in the cornfield. He's not wasting through mats. He's got plenty of it, right? He could go a build battle, but he knows it's not going to be beneficial. Unfortunately, he gets tacked up 6 health. Storm surge finishes him off in the end. But man, did he last quite some time. Good on him for trying to live as long as he could.
And actually, I want to bring a little bit of attention to this upset alert on the right here. 11 Graska. So their team, unfortunately, has not found a lot of points. Only 2 points. So their first 2 games, duds. And we're talking about one of the most consistent teams leading up into this qualifiers right here before they make it to Heat 1. And that's what I mean by this Heat is so stacked. There are going to be upsets before this day is over. There's no way all of our, favorite teams make it out of here alive. Only 6 can make it through. The most skillful and the luckiest.
Luck does definitely come into play, right? You got to have a little bit of it if you want to try to be successful. But in the end, skill, though, will trump luck every day of the week and working hard. Overall, though, we're going to see that first moving zone coming through. Now,
the worst one.
Really, it definitely is right now. You see how far they got to travel. Nosh did not get blessed in the meantime. They're constantly going to be in a 3v4, at least in a worst-case scenario. But they do have plenty of mats, it seems, right? So they'll be able to tarp their way over, and at least for the time being, they are making quick work. But hopefully they don't run into a spot. If they do, hey, they could get a couple of tags, but go down themselves. That's going to be a couple of tags down low, Monster.
This is crazy. They were doing an excellent job rotating ahead of the zone, but now they're going to slow down and face the issues of the storm here. That's one of the problems with rotating late, especially when you have the longest trek to make right here. So with the server all in a scramble right here, they're all split up. They're on different layers. The problem is going to be to get to one another. He's trying to split these mats right here. Chaotic is leading the push with the tunneling right now. This Nosh is the fragger right now, and Nosh is going to get traded out by whoever was in front of him. It's going to be Hoffner from BBG still in the running right now. So Chaotic is by himself. The rest of his team was dismantled on the late rotation. That's why you have to rotate early, and he gets taken out as well. It's Hoffner once again. You see right there. That is crazy. Now we get to see that other perspective because the delays are a little different from Diddy and Hoffner's side of things right here. Paper gets taken out. That was one of the few in that team right there. Siphon's going to keep him alive right now. They're also split up. Hoffner's way ahead of them. And check this. Diddy's in the low ground right here.
And I hope that doesn't work against them. Still getting some tags, though. Storm is going to be on the back of that. Player pushes in. No, you can't do that. He gets taken out of the end. W key didn't work. Lanson's going to be victorious. But another player, though, I think it's going to be Hoffner just up above. He's going for, at least I thought,
Hoffner
he was going for the finish.
Too. So we saw Hoffner take out Nosh's squad right there for a second. He doubles back into the storm to catch revenge right there on Lanson, which is going to keep him alive. The bandage bazooka, is it enough? He's got no chance. Taken out right there, too. So he is out now. Beautiful trap play. This is a trap tower and a trap fest. As everyone's going down, they brought him straight down from the heavens and find themselves all of the material generated straight out of those corpses, just like that.
Fantastic work coming out from Hassan and his team, right? Getting a couple of tags. That's going to put them up to at least 9 points overall. They've got plenty of damage. They're not worried about Storm Surge whatsoever, and they are forced to take low ground. Hopefully it doesn't slow them down. Storm is going to move past them. Those are a lot of builds they have to work through. Hassan, he doesn't have any health, so he's going to be down to at least 40, at least in terms of overall health. Hopefully the Storm doesn't catch up to him once again, and he can find maybe potentially a bandage bazooka, maybe some floppers. Opportunity to get some tags, goes into focus. Not going to be able to connect. He's all right with that, though. He'll go ahead and still find a way over towards the next zone. Looks like he just made it, but a lot of lasers coming through. Hassan goes down. It's now down to just one player from the squad.
He just rolled up on the Kings themselves. Zate finds himself a quick elimination. Hansen was doing a beautiful job changing layers as well. I was almost going to credit him for getting the perfect free rotation. Even though he had mats, it was so risky. But he gets caught as soon as he elevates himself just a little bit right there. Now jumping in with his teammate, the one guy still alive right now. He's got 2 elims. He's kind of floating around. We're kind of catching a little bit of a replay of these moments here from Hoffner. Taken out. We're just kind of hopping back and forth right now. We're trying to find a feed to catch up with. Jack is Godly was still alive. Now looking at Hill and Funk still in the running right here. You guys wanted to see their POV. They're way up in the sky right now. They have high ground.
Oh, they have ultimate height. There's also some builds up top that they're going to be able to recycle as well to keep that high ground, and nobody's challenging them as of yet. RPGs to keep the players low, keep them in check. Doing a great job. This is a great opportunity for Ninja's team to get a great placement.
it's actually crazy because we talked about Sav Squad knowing when and how to take height. So I wonder if they're going to even be able to make this run to the top right now because they're sitting so pretty up here. But we talk about the last team from the previous game not really using their materials correctly by not refreshing. You see Nate's kind of building off on his own little tangent here. This kind of stuff comes back to kind of bite you, right? So we got to be careful on who's leading out right now. RPG also makes it a little bit dangerous because Nate Hill is just hunting. They're on the hunt right now. They do have 7 points now, so they could potentially be making their run to the top 10. With 28 players alive, refractions, the placement points should be coming soon.
Oh, you got to be thinking so, right? I mean, placements are about to be there. There's no reason why Ninja and his co cannot get this placements points. Nate Hill just being a terror up top, not letting anybody breathe, right? They're forced to go ahead and continue to defend themselves, building some walls. That's exactly what you want to do. You want to waste your opponent's mats as well as keep their head up. Overall, though, no one has even challenged them, but they've got to watch out. Double RPG could be coming through. They could lose it. Now, let's go back right to game one. They lost high ground. They were forced to go into water, and that was because someone overtook it appropriately. Hopefully, that is not going to be the case here.
I just saw on the feed, our second place team was just taken out. I was trying to see if I caught eyes on Creo or one of these other guys that are in the running right now, but it looks like the whole entire top 6 might be making a breakup and some upsets right here. Now the elims are rolling. We see over 6 on his team right now. This is where the frag potential of Reverse and Nate come out. It's that end game. You put Reverse in the end game, you give them high ground on top of that, they're going to run house with it. That's exactly what they're doing right now. Nate doing a beautiful job connecting his structures here. This is their game to lose right now should they make an error. 100 mats left on Nate Hill. The shots are raining down, and a server collapse is coming together here, Reflections.
Couple tags down low too, right? Just continually being a terror up top. If you look at the total people left, right, including these 4, there's only going to be 4 players they need to take out. This could be a dub coming their way very easily. Victory Royale at their fingertips. Still, being a terror on the players down low, trying to destroy the builds. And overall, though, those floppers, that's what I'm going to be looking at, especially if it comes into a hill off Nate Hill. He's going to be able to survive for quite some time. The full squad up, Bandage Bazooka in hands as well. They could go ahead and eliminate themselves and give all their hills to Nate Hill. He could just go for the hill off overall. He's going to be set. But still, though, it might not even come down to that. Another player is going to drop. 3 players left. Monster, the finish is about to happen.
And no, he lets his guard down, and someone shot him in the back right there. I'm not sure what happened. Ninja was actually shot from behind. Nate Hill's actually the glue to this team right now. He was giving out the comms. Just keep chill. Make it all the way through to the end. We have plenty of builds. Just take our time, and that's why they're splitting their materials, working their way down. If I had to guess, this is probably Zate's team down in the low ground. I didn't see them in the feed. Look at Ninja's perspective here as he's breaking some builds. He's on the hunt, and he's going lower and lower. He's the closest to the enemies. You have to be careful because there's still 3 players remaining on this last team right now. RPG's coming up, bringing them closer and closer. Looks like Ninja's out of mats. He's going for the toe-to-toe. He eats a rocket launcher right here. And what's going to happen is it's just collapsing right now, Reflections.
It's absolutely collapsing. Ninja got a couple of great tags. He's going to go to ultimate low ground. He's going to get another tag at a player. He's going to drop himself. Now, it's got to be up the funk. And you see on his screen, or Nate Hill, rather, the victory royale comes through. They capitalize in the end. That's a ton of points coming their way. They slayed out. And Ninja's team, surprising me, comes through and gets the victory. Did you happen to catch who got second place? I think this was actually, at least a team down on the bottom. Saf Sate, High Sky, as well as Commandment going big, trying to just go ahead and tunnel their way through. A lot of mats they had to go through. At the end of the day, though, that low ground was theirs. But, man, what a performance from Ninja.
And that's what I was going to say. We're just backtracking now, using that replay mode to kind of catch up here. I thought it was Commandment, Saf, and Zayt down there, and I think I was correct. Ninja gets bodied in the trade right there, but lucky for them, Nate Hill, like I said before, was the glue to the fight. Take a look at these final moments here from the bottom perspective. We saw Nate and Ninja really putting the pressure down, but look at how they're still keeping calm and holding their tarps right here. This is still while there were 3 squads left, right? We didn't even know there was a lurker kind of hanging out nearby. Look at that. It's High Sky just kind of going down. This is where they claim that ultimate low ground right now. Switching to the hard mats. A little bit of a box battle right there. Perplexity catches Saf. So that was a trade out. And this is all the stuff you don't really get to see, right? There's just so much unfolding. So
and it's so great that we have the production, right, to be able to see all this, because this is really crucial to the overall story, right? Just seeing one perspective isn't enough. You got to know what was happening down low, and this was an opportunity to kind of see it. But the fact that Commandment's team stayed up as long as they did, regardless if they get second, let's not forget they were top 6, right, going into this game. And second place, you know they're not going to fall any further. Ninja's going to go up, of course, in his squad, but overall, great stuff. That high ground, though, that's what did him in the end. And especially Ninja, let's not forget Ninja dropping down too and getting those tags. That was crucial.
Risky. Yeah, and that's so risky. That's like a huge risk. That's how like teams low-key throw games when they go down without their squad mates being close enough or at least being reloaded and prepared for the drop down, right? That's why he got traded out first. Should things gone like a little bit differently, his team might not have taken that victory. But again, blessings all be on their favor because they did make it happen. Here's the trade right here with Command. He eats a rocket launcher. No health. Still says, you know, I'm going to go for it. Feeling like 29 health going down into the zone to take the fight. Like, that was actually crazy.
I think he probably felt comfortable, right, doing it. Regardless, 29 health, even if he could drop down, knock a player, or even get some tags as he did, he knew his squad was already going down as well to go ahead and finish him off. That's why Nate was there just up above. Ninja was acting as a distraction, if you will, and a great finish from Funk in the end. But man, what a finish overall. Ninja squad coming through big in the end. Obviously, you know, a favorite amongst some people out there, but top 6 is going to be interesting overall. Monster, I'm loving what I'm seeing. That's only game 2. There's still 4 more games remaining.
For a second there, I thought that was like game 5 or something like that. Like, I feel like I've watched so much gameplay so far. Yeah. But no, honestly, that was a crazy end game. Consistency is the key. But with that, guys, we got to see how are the leaderboards shaking up? How did Ninja's team push their way up? We saw the final moments. This is definitely going to cause some kind of hype around the opening heats here as they load in now. And look at that consistency rewarding Commandment, Zate, High Sky, and Saf, the kings of the squad, I guess, FNCS so far up until this point. And just look at the leaderboard. Zexro's team did not earn anything. 17 points. They're going to slip out. They're going to fall down to 7th. Sofa somehow managing their 5th place. They might have not have earned anything either. And it looks like now you see Perplexity push up. Creo and Zypha earned a little bit something right there. I think about 7 points. And that's going to keep them in the running. But it's all about consistency here. Look at how close this is. And we saw iCarry's team in the end game as well. They made some points too.
Let me point something out. Commandment and his team after game 1 only had 15 total points.
Look at that.
Now they sit at the top at 38. You talk about having a phenomenal second game. So they got 15 in the first game, 18 in second. If my math is right, correct me if I'm wrong. I've never been a genius. 99% of the time, I have no idea what I'm saying. But I got to say, though, that's a lot of points. 8 points above that of second place. That makes you sit pretty. Top 6 now, getting very interesting. 4th place, as you mentioned, right, with Nate Hill, Ninja, Funk, and Reverse at 28 points. They are within striking distance to at least take over 2nd place. You look through 2nd through 4th, there is only a 2-point difference between those 3. Phenomenal work overall, and still a lot of games to be played. But I want to highlight what you said before, Monster, right? If you slip up, you have a couple of bad games. Look at the EU side. You can drop down that leaderboard drastically. Before you know it, you're not going to have the opportunity to catch up. Early games are critical to get a nice lead, but it's all about staying consistent, something you continue to harp on. It seems as if Commandment, Zate, High Sky, and Saf, they continue to be consistent from FNCS squad qualifiers now over to here. But Monster, I'm hearing in my ear, game number 3 is underway.
That's right, guys. Once again, the games are going to be loading up here. And just to give you guys a little bit of an insight, we are looking at a hybrid situation here. A little bit of replay mode to kind of catch you guys up with some of our favorites or maybe big moments and those live POVs of people that are streaming their perspectives. So big thank yous to the practice server out back, just kind of finding all of this action to bring to you guys. And, you know, it's Reflections and Monster here on the horn right now, bringing it to you guys. So now, Nasha squad off the bat outside of Slurpy Swamps. Last time they had this POI to themselves, and they still somehow didn't even have full shield going into the 2nd and 3rd zone. So yeah, they had Storm Surge issues. We know that. They were affected by Storm Surge, and they didn't have a lot of material and stuff to take with it. So we know that if you have the swamps, one of the key ingredients, you have to farm and fish. You don't get that freedom. Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, fishing over there is incredibly important. Already taking some tags, though. It's going to be our boy here. Of course, off the start, Sweaty Sands. Yeah, and, you know, we kind of talked about this, right? Sweaty Sands, at the beginning, wasn't contested. But as the games have continued on, at least 2 squads like to land here, and it's crucial that you win your engagements off the rip. You're losing out on a lot of points. There's only 6 games. You go down early on, you don't get the points for 1 game. You're already going to be that much more behind consistent teams like our top 6 who have consistently been doing well in game 1 and game 2. So you have to make it count. If you are contested off the rip, it's because you're not doing good enough job eliminating your opponents. Game 3 should set the precedence. Whoever wins this probably is going to scare off the next squad who lost, right? They're probably going to go somewhere else. This is going to be a crucial battle for Sweaty.
That's right. And thank you to the Secret Man. He says, Hope Ninja keeps this up. It's so awesome. Hashtag FNCS Finals. Thank you so very much. Don't forget, guys, you can use that hashtag FNCS Finals. You got to get your tweet featured, or you want to kind of get a message across to us. We do appreciate all that activity there. But again, now we're jumping in with some of the faves here. The Nate Hill, Funk, Reverse Ninja, big smile on their face after that last performance. 30 Docs is, again, uncontested to themselves. They got to be feeling good right now, making it all the way through, and securing a little something for themselves.
So interesting to go back on the history of Dirty Docs, right? Ninja, like I said, used to go here, especially for the warm-up early on in FNCS. They didn't have much success. And like I said, earlier on, I thought they should have switched it up. But obviously, though, something went right. No one has challenged them, at least in the 3 games that we have seen them play. So Dirty Docs, very beneficial. The rotation out, it can be awkward, but look at that zone. They get blessed. They don't have that far to go. That allows them more opportunity to potentially fish. It allows them more opportunity to get looted up, get fully kitted, as well as get your mats correct so you can go ahead and push into zone. Overall, though, they're going to be looking good. But one thing, though, we've been mentioning it, Storm Surge is going to take an effect. They've got to get some ticks, so they're going to have to probably push deeper into the zone than they probably want to.
Yeah, that has been an issue for them. But look, Savtona, Clutch, and Sully, they're actually going to be the reason the BBG boys are going to be pushed out of here. So this has been their issue. This has been the thorn in their side right here, is Savtona. Last time we saw this team, they had this entire point to themselves, and this is exactly why. They lay down the fire, and they claim the big hotel. Whoever claims this has the dominant kind of control over the area, and it really forces everyone else out. You can't fight your way up this place. It's very difficult. And look, he's doing this with just one burst rifle here. Yeah. One purple burst rifle that has all the damage and all the range. He hasn't even gotten really to looting. He just got material, got his gun, sat up top, made it hard for them. That's all the Storm Surge they're going to need. They're good now.
And you saw the builds from that team off of the distance and the way that they were building their walls. They're dipping out. They're leaving. They don't want this engagement off the start. It didn't work well for them last time. It's probably not going to work well for them this time. Hey, if all you have is your epic burst in your hand, you go ahead and get a couple attacks or Storm Surge, you push the team out, hugely beneficial, great to see. Dr. Football, though, over here at Lazy, last time it didn't go well. Game 2 did not go well at all. Game 1 was different. It did work out for the better, but this has been a hot topic, right? This has been a hugely contested spot, and last time, Dr. Football didn't win this engagement. So let's see if he could come through with the Fuego this time and take over the victory.
And I just said how the hotel is one of those spots you want to hold, and it makes it hard for players to push you. Same for this right here, this kind of like hospital home, whatever you want to call this big office. This is the spot you want. This is the high ground of the Lazy. And yeah, it has been a very stubborn battle between the team that's been here. So far, they've won one of the 2 engagements in the early game. And now it looks like they're big throning here for Lazy Lake third. But the difference is they didn't get elims for this. This other team is exercising the big brain disengage and getting on out of there, kind of keeping in the running. There's 99 players. You heard what he said. He said there's one laughing. Just listening to the comms right here.
Yeah, I try to snipe that guy.
You can kind of hear, giving the weak call out to the one player.
We go for the fish, whatever.
Yeah, they left
Okay.
all that fish.
I think they said what? They go for the fish, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to go ahead and go for... And you know, great thing to do. We talked about it. Incredibly important late game overall. Still going to be pretty quiet. And luckily, there's not going to be an engagement off the rip. You know, hey, Dr. Football, he was ready for it, but I think taking over that high ground, getting kitted up quickly was probably detrimental to that other team and obviously pushed them back. However, of course, to Weeping Woods, a great spot to be. They're getting kitted up themselves from Strudels. See how it works out.
Yeah, I was going to say, just to be fair, like those kind of early game tags, that's huge. That gives so much relief to the team, especially if Storm Surge becomes a thing. The later you go into these games, 1 of 2 trends happen. Either people get real confident and they start like W-king, or people aren't playing to their I guess their strengths, right? And they
Sure.
slow down their game, right? And then Storm Surge becomes a real big issue, especially on NA servers. We've seen this happen a lot. That's kind of what it looks like is unfolding in these last few games, being that we've seen Storm Surge already happen in 2 games of the 3 so far. And this one looks like it's on track to be another Storm Surge route.
Oh, 100%, right? 100%. Shout out to Drayden, though. Watching FNCS right now. So much talent. Let's go Team SAF. All right, we know where your allegiance lies, Drayden. We appreciate you using that hashtag. Make sure you guys keep using our socials, right? Get on any social you have, particularly Twitter. Use that hashtag FNCS Finals. We want to hear what you have to say. We want to know, what are you thinking about the finals so far? What are you thinking about production, the talent? What are you thinking about the gameplay? Who do you have taken over the victory as a whole? I'm very curious. I know, Monster, you want to hear from them as well. Keep it coming. But just going back to the replay, Creo on your screen. Who's getting kitted up? Got some nice shields.
Yeah, we're just showing that they're alive. They're still in the running here. And something I do want to know, I see a lot of you guys in, various of our chats talking about the drops. I think drops are just kind of bugged across the board right now. So guys, just be patient. Sure, by the weekend, by the time the weekend's up, you guys will be able to earn it. So if you can't get it today, it is okay. But let's look at here. What kind of information the Prodigy Analytics has dropped for us? Picking up where they left off, Zay's team has converted 78% of their games into top 8 placements in the qualifiers, compared to the average 58% so far. 100% placing 4th and 2nd in their first 2 games. That's actually crazy. Just showing you guys how consistent that team is.
I mean, they haven't slowed down. Like I said, let the FNCS squad qualifiers go. This is where it all matters. Well, clearly, they already have the winning formula in their mind. They're making it happen. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Follow in the chat saying no keys in game. And why is that important? Why do I bring that up? Well, of course, keys is in fact with Cloud, Zypha, as well as Creo. They're in 3rd place. They're in 3rd place, and now they're going to be the constant 3v4. They got to face adversity. They've got to go big. This is their moment to shine now. They cannot afford to have a tough, bad game. But Nosh, though, in his squad, they're going to be in an engagement, getting tagged up just a little bit. But luckily, they've got Storm Surge on their side for the time being. They're going to be sitting pretty and easily make it to zone.
That is right. This is a rotation right through Lazy Links where we saw the good doctor kind of lurking around there. But jumping in with Hanson, Lanson, Flex, and the one guy. It's a rotation right across Salty Springs. Looks like they're trying to cut up northeast towards the Risky Reel right now. Seeing that they don't want to go through the island and probably looking for a better placement on the map up top by the farm or something like that. And you hear the calls right there. Give them the mark.